On the Rave with Addie and Gav is proudly sponsored by Express Lifestyle Solutions.
Whether it's home insurance or mortgages, Express Lifestyle Solutions can make a difference. On the Rave!
Hi, this is Mark Archer from Alternate.
Hi, this is Ian from Dream Frequency.
This is Slipmatt, and you're in tune to the On the Rave.
On the Rave.
On the Rave!
Podcast.
Watch your bass fins, I'm telling you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ravers of all ages, welcome back once again to the On the Rave podcast. We're doing a podcast, Addy. You know what that means?
Raver's choice, Gav.
It does. It means a big old helping of Raver's motherfucking choice.
A massive slab of it.
A massive slab.
Right across your face.
And we got challenged to play something local.
Could have been a few things.
It could have,
especially being Rave.
It could have.
Oh, I don't know.
Smurf. We could have played some Smurf.
Smurf's local.
We could have played some Zero B.
That's what I was thinking of.
He's local, but you know what I've went for? I've went for a pair of local dons. Big up Tom Fridgeman from Raw Vibe.
He's Tom.
Big up, yes, Tom, definitely.
I'm
big
ready.
up Ames as well. Here is a big fat slice of Geordie slang. Get a thick of this fucking shit and don't do what I do, which is laugh every time Ames says the word
Doylem.
We're speaking slang like this. We're speaking slang like this. We're speaking slang like this. This one's a belter, gan helter skelter. No, I wreck it when I'm repping, I'm the best fella. All the police and the gadgets in tune cannot stand us. Let me see you stand up when I'm speaking slang like this. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, dusty, kushti, mint, waxer. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, doiler, raji. We speak in slang like this. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, dusty, kushti, mint, waxer. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, doiler, raji. We speak in slang like this. Oh, where my hat, charmer, kid, class, civvy, belter, hat, dusty, charmer, cool, waxer, mint, belter, doiler. Oh, where my hat, charmer, kid, class, civvy, belter, hat, raji, charmer, kushti, mint. We speak in slang like this. I got your lap telling me you're a duck cunt. Your bell to hurt my voice from the row and kick me off like who's that duck cunt? That one means you would never be that man. Yeah, not another man. Step me back, man. I'll deculate and walk in and walk by like, yeah, man, D, who's that man? Yeah, man. Everybody says, yeah, man. When I hear sticks say that up on the set, I grab the text like tax that man. I got the whole range screaming that man. Here, man, I'm right like that man. When I say yeah, man, I don't mean come over. I'm just using slang when I talk like this. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, dusty, kushti, mint, waxer. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, doiler, raji. We speak in slang like this. Oh, where man, hat, charmer, kid, class, civvy, belter, hat, dusty, charmer, cool, waxer, mint, belter, doiler. Oh, where man, hat, charmer, kid, class, civvy, belter, hat, raji, charmer, kushti, mint. We speak in slang like this. How? It's the original Java here. I know it's your pal, but Java as a pal, I'm saying that it's Java's queer. Java, I don't need pals, I got a new dog, but I'm them Java's scared. Different guys on like a dafty beat. Yeah man, none of these Javas care. Yeah, they're done. What? You think you're all cause a few of your pals are strong? Like on the stage, I forgot what did he say? I'm evil and the Java's fun. I will evil and you Java's gone. That's when your lads' pals are telling my pals to bring their pals strong on. They love it when we're speaking slang like this. It's purely belter. Gan helter skelter. No, I wreck it when I'm repping, I'm the best fella. All the police and the gadgets in tune cannot stand us. Let me see you stand up when I'm speaking slang like this. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, dusty, kushti, mint, waxer. Oh, where man, charmer, class, belter, doiler, raji. When I'm speaking slang like this. Oh, where my head, charmer, kid, class, civvy, belter, head, dusty, charmer, cool, waxer, mint, Raji, Chava, Kushti, Mint. We speaking slang like this. Where man, Chava, class, belter, Daphne, Kushti, Mint. Waxa, where man, Chava, class, belter, Doyle, Raji. We speaking slang like this. Where my head, Chava, kid, class, Sibby, Bella, head, Daphne, Chava, cool, Waxa, Mint, belter, Doyle. Where my head, Chava, kid, class, Sibby, Bella, head, Raji, Chava, Kushti, Mint. We speaking slang like this. This one's a belter, Gan Helter Skelter. No, I wreck it when I'm repping, I'm the best fella. All the police and the gadgets in tune can't stand us. Let me see you stand up when I'm speaking slang like this. This one's a belter, Gan Helter Skelter. No, I wreck it when I'm repping, I'm the best fella. All the police and the gadgets in tune can't stand us. Let me see you stand up when I'm speaking slang like this.
Well, there you go. Can you get much local than that? That, as I said, was Ames, but that was the remix by DJ Fishman from Raw Vibe of Geordie Slang.
Purely belter, Gan Helter Skelter.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's fucking hilarious. So when someone said play something local, I was like, yeah, I'm all about this. It's not like we can play it on the radio neither.
No.
Because it says the C word a few times.
It's very sweary.
It is very sweary.
And we're very sweary, cunt.
Yeah, we're allowed to be. We are labelled as explicit, you see. So, we have another one of those guests wangling all the way up to Benfica to speak to her on the Zooms and ting. We know it's been a while. So here is episode 45 of the Hardcore Histories.
Featuring Mr. Rob the Rhythm.
On the Rave! Well, Addie, guess what?
What's that, Gavin?
We've managed to convince yet another member of the Raving Republic to sit down and have a Zoom call with us, despite all the technical issues.
We pulled him away from entertaining the Scottish nation with his streams every week. Mr. Rob the Rhythm, how are you, mate?
Very good, guys. How are you?
All good, man. All good.
All the better for seeing your smiling face. I tell you what, for the uninitiated, for anyone who's not familiar with who you are and what you do, do you want to explain a little bit about what you do in the world of music?
Well, style-wise, I more concentrate these days on a kind of I would call it hardcore, but if you were to split it down, I'd say kind of mainstream hardcore and up-tempo hardcore, and then towards the end of my sets, a bit of terror as well.
Nice.
Good. That's good. You run a record label, don't you?
Yeah, I run a record label called Dark Side Unleashed. With my mate Al Twisted. We've been doing that now for over 10 years, nearly reaching the 150 release mark. So
I just got a boatload from you the other day. Thank you very much. I still haven't listened to actually. That's everything that comes in my email like that. I'm just like, oh, I've got to do that when I get home. And instantly forget about it. So like, oh shit, I've got to do that. I'm actually going to do that. So that's my weekend.
Yeah. And Al Twisted, obviously a good lad. We've played on the same bill as Al at a couple of man faces, haven't we?
Yes, we've been to Al down at Bad
Nice.
Was Mr. Spaz Tech himself.
Cool.
Bangface, one event I've not made it down to actually is Bangface, but I'd love to go.
Well, let's hope. Fingers crossed we can get out of this fucking lockdown shit.
Exactly.
Go to festivals again. Bangface is a long way away. Let's make it fucking happen.
Yeah, if we can manage to get through Christmas without this Indian variant causing more shenanigans, then I reckon by the time we get around to March or April, there's definitely bang faces to be had. Like,
Here's hoping, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the hoping. Like, spot on. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll crack straight on with the show, and we'll open with section 1, which is early influences. So, who played the music in the house? Who were your early influences in the way of music?
Early influences for me growing up, I kind of grew up through the 90s. So growing up through the 90s, my first kind of passion was like for the kind of bouncy techno scene.
I introduced Gav to Tartan Techno, and he loved that term. Like, he was just like, Tartan Techno. It's like, well, you know, it's techno, Tartan Techno, isn't it?
It's what I told Ron Seal, like the words Tartan Techno. You know, it's a Scotsman playing banging tunes. Tartan Techno works.
Exactly. Well, it was more kind of bass generator and whatnot from down your neck of the woods that got me into that kind of style. I can remember before I was even into that, I had a tape that I would play. I remember it had 5 tracks on it. Now, I can't remember what all 5 tracks were, but I do remember Bizarre Ink Play My Knives was the first track on it. And that's probably the earliest memory I have of listening to kind of dance music and liking something that much. And then it wasn't until a bit later after that I got into the kind of bouncy techno stuff, which happened. It was my friend's big brother, actually. He was also a bit older than us at the time. So when I was in my pal Cooley's house, his brother would be going to like the early resurrections and whatnot up in Showdown. So he would play that kind of music all the time in the house. And at this point, I can remember me and my pal Cooley, we used to call it computer music. Listen to him, listen to these computer music. And then I'd been on holiday with my pal Cooley. And on the way back, we stopped off to pick his brother up in his dad's car. His brother was in the army, so we picked him up for the army base. And when his brother got in the car, he put a bass generator tape in. And that was me. I was in the car with this computer music on for at least an hour with no escape. And after the hour car journey, we get back to Kelly's house. And I was like, Keith, you need to give me a loan of that tape. That's brilliant. And never looked back since.
See, I'd like to think that he was in the army barracks, absolutely in charge of the one beatbox that all had to share, and was just torturing the other squaddies with loads of bass and G. Like that would be absolutely spot on. Like,
but it sounds like you these days.
Yeah, that's it, and that's a really good start to what's going on. So I tell you what, let's crack on and let's listen to a little bit of Bizarre Ink. This is
Playing with Knives.
Yeah, the beautiful Playing with Knives, straight out of '91.
Just dance and move your body.
Well, there you go, and that's a little bit of the Zarink playing with knives.
Beautiful track.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's a regular in on the old school scene.
It sure is. I'm not sure. Was Mark Archer involved with Bizarring at that time for the early ones?
He had his fingers in so many old school pies that I would not be surprised. It's one of those ones that's like weekly on Method Radio as well. So get tuned in.
That's it. You can't beat a classic.
Well, this is it. What is it you say about good music?
Good music never gets shit, but a shit tune will never get good.
There you go. All about it. Let's stroll into section 2, which is when we talk about finding your own feet in the world of music. So after the car ride induced computer music shenanigans,
the bass generator.
Whereabouts did you start to lean when you started like digging through the racks for yourself?
Well, I can remember being on holiday with my mum and dad. We were down in Blackpool, and by this point I was into the bouncy techno kind of stuff and the kind of Dutch hardcore, like Neophyte, that kind of style. And I went into HMV in Blackpool with my mum and dad, and I was flicking through the vinyls in there, and I came across a record by a group called Naz and Bluten from Australia. And it was a double LP called Not As Good As 100% No Soul Guaranteed EP. Now, I didn't have a clue who Naz and Bluten were at this point, but I can remember pulling this vinyl out, and it had, on the back of it, it had like loads of mentions and graffiti that they just wrote all over the record. I can remember one of it was the industrial strength sign on the back, and they'd scored it off. It said industrial strength sucks dicks in 96 or something on the back. And I can remember seeing the cover for this record and thinking, oh, that looks cool. So I managed to force my dad into buying it, and took it up the road, put it on the decks, and was absolutely blown away with the sound and the speed of it.
Outstanding album. That
Amazing.
and 100% No Soul Guaranteed. I wouldn't say the second one was better. They say I think it would be worse, but they were both just pinnacle tunes from back, and still are. I still listen to them all the time. I'm part of a Bloody Fist group that it's just people waxing lyrical about Bloody Fist like every day and selling copies of Mouse for ridiculous amounts.
Exactly. I think the first album was probably maybe more popular.
Yeah.
But the second album, I think, flowed a lot better if you listen to it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Because it's got more of the kind of breakbeat stuff in between the tracks.
Also, interesting note, back in the day, I can't remember why I was down Blackpool, but I was in Blackpool HMV and found one of my own records, and I was just like, what the very fuck is this doing in Blackpool HMV? So on,
nice.
What was it, Screwface and HMS's label, I was just like, last place I thought I'd see any sort of fucking Gabber at all, let alone one of my tunes.
Exactly. I think we brought out a tune called Beating the Drums, me and Al, and we got it released on Nucleus Records. And my mum and dad got us it for our Christmas and my birthday once, and they got it and they put it in a frame. And I can just imagine my parents standing in HMV asking for this record.
Can you please order it in for us?
Yeah. Just leaning over the counter going, can you get 2 copies of that for us there, lad? 2 copies. 2 copies.
One for Blade, one for the wall.
Yeah, that's the one. Like,
have you got the new hardcore EP 10?
So, sorry about that, I'm just choking. Off a 100% No Soul Guarantee, no, not as good as 100% No Soul Guaranteed. What is the tune that's really going to make it bang?
The tune for me, and I think it was the first track that I heard on the vinyl, so it was the first Naz and Bluten track that I'd ever heard, so it kind of blew me away in a sense, and it was a track titled, inappropriately titled, Fucking Greedy Bitch.
Oh, even with my limited knowledge of all of that sort of shenanigans, that is one that even I'm aware of. Like, and the absolute beasts of the scene, Naz and Bluten, all that bloody fist stuff's great. Like,
love it all.
Yeah, even my lass who's a metaler likes the bloody fist stuff. She's a bit more into the harder side. Not as much the jungle, but you put a bit of the Raj hardcore on, or the Raj Gabba, whatever it is. It's more inclined to that. Sweet. Well, let's get a little bit of Naz and Bluten on for all the listeners. Another handful of it, because it's a regular one on here. Let's go with
Fucking Greedy Bitch.
There you go, from the Newcastle down under, from the Newcastle up over. That's a little bit of Nasenbluten.
That's a Newcastle that doesn't exist, and the Newcastle that definitely does.
Yep, that's the one, and that was fucking greedy bitch. And you can go and get yourself absolutely thick of all the Nasenbluten stuff online. YouTube's a good spot for it.
Go to the Bandcamp. It's all been, well, a lot of it's been re-released, especially the early albums. I don't think the Bloody Fist stuff, but you can find a lot of it on their old tapes and stuff like that.
Oh.
It's always nice to get fresh re-recorded rips of them.
Yeah, rather than the ones that you ripped yourself, where you get that bit of crackle.
Well,
very,
they all
very
came
start.
out, but they all came out as tapes back in the day. I've still got some upstairs. Actually, someone's trying to buy some of them off me as we speak.
Great, there you can. Ali's still telling the tapes. What can we say? Let's swiftly move into section 3 of the On the Rave podcast, which is
First rave memories.
So, do you remember the very first rave that you went to, or like a good majority of the people who we
Is it
asked?
a shambles of a mess of your brain on drugs?
Well, there'd be a few. To be honest, I mean, the first rave that played that kind of music, I mean, actually, me and my pal South, we got to DJ our third year school disco. and just played hardcore for the full night. So suppose technically that was the first rave I went to.
How many of the teachers just looked at you with absolute disdain while you were playing?
No, they weren't too happy. There was the local scouts as well. They asked us to do one of their discos, and the Industrial Strength album would just come out. Industrial fucking Strength, that was just out, and that had like the kind of DOA tunes and that on it. But Cunt Face for Nasenbluten one was on that as well. And they done this scout disco, so I DJ'd that one myself, and I just got that album that day, so I was playing all the tracks from that. And the people who'd went to the first one, I don't think they expected it to be like that, so it turned out quite popular. And then they done a second one. And I get booked for the second one, and they'd released like 150 tickets, but it was just like wee cardboard tickets that you got, so everybody in my school just photocopied all the tickets just so they could get in. And it turned out they had to recall all the tickets and make new ones with holograms on them so that they knew who'd bought a ticket and who hadn't bought a ticket. And then there was about 400 or 500 people turned up on the night, and it didn't go down too well because people didn't go in. The windows all get smashed in the rugby club that they were doing it at. They're safely say they never done a scout disco after that, or at least if they did, they never asked me to do it. So yeah, that was maybe the first elements of kind of events. And then apart from under 18s, my first kind of proper rave that I would say I went to was again down your guys' neck of the woods, was Judgment Day in
my old home
in the university. And we went down to see, I think headliner wise for that night was meant to be Roughneck Alliance.
Yeah.
But they never turned up though, which is a bit of a gutter.
Yeah,
but it was still a great rave.
Roughneck not to turn up actually, because they used to turn up, especially for Judgment Day with their MC Sneaky Eye coming from Newcastle. You know, they used to come here quite often.
Yeah, no, well, we actually, me and the missus went to see, which was meant to be Roughneck's last ever set in 2002 at Nightmare in Rotterdam in Holland,
Yeah.
which was great. It's probably one of the best sets I've seen. But then about a year later, he was back on the flyers again.
Oh, just like Orbital there. All of the times
Yeah.
that Orbital.
Cash in.
Yeah.
Cash in.
Last big gig. Definitely not doing another one. 12 months later, Orbital's last big gig.
Yeah, it's like the last ever North. The North 100, the last ever North. Went to that, was great. Then got a flyer for the next one on the way out.
That's great marketing, that, like. It's great marketing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like these shops that have got massive sales saying closing down sale, and you're like, oh shit, that shop's going to disappear. And you walk past a month later and it's like brand new closing down sale. They're never going to close them. Like
The all new, brand new, old closing down sale.
yeah, you've got to clear the stock somewhere, haven't they? Tell you lies to get you through the window. So, do you remember any specific tunes from these first raves that you
Or
were
any
going
of the
to?
DJs that you went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, one tune sticks out in my head, and it was from the first time we went down to Judgment Day. So we went to Judgment Day. There used to be two buses that would leave from Glasgow, run by a guy, Brian Pulsator, from up here.
Yeah.
So we were in Brian's bus. We went down. I remember done the rave on the way back up from the rave. I can remember sitting on the bus on the way back, zoned into this track that was playing, and it was a tune by Darren Kelly and the Stun Guys called Main Motherfuckers. It's the first time I'd ever heard the track on the way back up on the bus, and I just remember thinking that it's just incredible. And I think the track wasn't out at that point when we were listening to it on the way back, and it was one of the tracks when you hear it and you just have to have it in vinyl. So I spent a good few months after that trying to hunt it down until I finally got it.
Yeah. One of those ones that you'd find in seconds these days because you've got the wonderful new invention,
Exactly.
the facility of YouTube. But back
At the
then,
internet, where you can just type in this and then find it straight away.
yeah, just fight
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
And set lists. It's amazing. Like, you see, it's like, oh, you just hear, now you can hear someone DJ and go, all right, I'll have a look, and you can find their track list like within seconds, and it's like, oh, that's cool.
Someone would have sat down and wrote out every track that they played during that set. Like it's madness. Like the guy who did it for your Signal Flow one that went out the other day.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I haven't done it. I never do.
So someone basically made a playlist to one of Addie's old sets from the Signal Flow that we put out on the podcast, and appeared in the comments going, "Here you go, guys. I wrote down the whole set list for you." So, did you know that?
Yeah,
guy?
so you can just ask for a coffee.
You never saw it, man? There you go. Completely random guy who Addie didn't know, who just thought, I'll write down all the tunes to that to make it handy for everyone.
It's probably already been done, and then he's just copied and pasted it because that set was fairly old.
Either way, he is facilitating people finding
He's
the
helping
tunes.
us. He's helping us.
He's helping out. Cool. Well, let's get a little bit thick of some main motherfuckers. This is a little bit of Darren Kelly and the Stun Guys. Let's go.
Cause I'm the main motherfuckers. 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 Cause I'm the main motherfuckers.
Pranksters, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Pranksters, studio gangsters, busters, softer softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, prankster, studio gangsters, busters, prankster, studio, prankster, studio, prankster, studio gangsters, busters. Prankster, studio.
Cause I'm the main motherfuckers.
Prankster, studio. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio, prankster, studio, prankster, studio, prankster, studio, prankster, 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 killer. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Killer.
Cause I'm the main motherfuckers.
Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster. Prankster, studio gangsters, busters, softer than a bitch, but portray the role of gangster.
Well, that was a little bit of Darian Kelly, the stud guys with their main motherfuckers. Do you know how Darian Kelly got into fucking playing? Just a sidebar. Do you know how he got into actual music?
No.
Apparently he used to carry Carl Cox's record bag around one of Carl Cox's mates. And he's
That paid off for him in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, he just accidentally fell into it via Carl Cox's back pocket.
Yeah.
There's definitely there's definitely only few people who would have better coat trails to ride on than Carl Cox. Like, to be fair, if you're gonna ride in on anyone, you know what I mean. He's the unicorn of rave, like just absolutely all about it. And as I said, that's Force Records all the way out in 1997. Thick of the 90s references today.
Oh yes,
love a bit of that. Let's crack on with section 4, which is when we talk about festival fever. So, do you like a little bit of outdoor noise, as we call it? Are you a fan of a festival? You been to many?
Yep, I've been to loads. Played at quite a lot of them as well, to be honest. Been going there since I was young. Can't really beat the festival vibe, can you?
No,
especially
not at all.
No.
Just listening to good music that you like outside in the sun is just a magical experience, I think.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people at the festivals that are coming up at the back end of this year are just going to go absolutely bananas. Like,
definitely.
Especially in Res in Newcastle, because you're going to have to go bananas because it's going to be cold as fuck in Newcastle.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, that's going to be an epic one.
Oh,
that's going to be an epic one.
And tune in for more podcast shenanigans, because we'll be interviewing a lot of people for it coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Well, October, I mean, you never know with the weather in this country, though. We could get a scorcher in October. Summer's not exactly started off too good, so maybe it'll last a bit longer.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, last week in Newcastle, we are in the middle of May, and it was fucking snowing. So you know, you just never can predict the weather or what the weather's going to actually.
Exactly.
Cool. So do you want to go over some of these festivals you've actually been to, see if anyone can tick them all off?
I mean, festival-wise, I mean, festivals that I've played at myself, like Tomorrowland's, Harmony Hardcore, Army Hardcore, Ground Zero, Ibiza Goes Hard, Hard Island, Fortune Festival in Slovakia, End of the World Festival in Barcelona, just like off the top of my head. One festival I really want to play at, it's a name of mine to play at that I haven't played at yet, though, would be Dominator Festival.
Yeah, huge one.
Massive. Actually, I went to the first ever Dominator, attended it, and I think the highlight of my night for that was, if you remember Delta 9?
Yes.
From America, done a lot of stuff in Industrial Strength in the 90s. He done the last set on the outdoor Thunderdome stage at the first ever Dominator Festival, which was class. It's one of my best memories, actually. I've been out raving that.
Yeah, spot on. Dominator's the one that's like super popular with the Geordie lot as well, especially with the Gabba heads that we've got living in the area.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Delta 9 is an absolute legend. I remember we had to drive up to Scotland after I DJ'd with them at the Coliseum in Middlesbrough for Judgment Day, when Judgment Day had a back room and Coliseum had the front room, and like it was just a really sketchy night. I just remember I was trying to make DJ so people wouldn't dance, so I was playing ridiculous speeds, like fucking 5, like everything cranked up, fucking +8. Wrong speeds, like fucking trying to just shout, no, stop dancing. And then the next night I went to nosebleed with them.
Nice. I remember we were standing listening to my Dominator, and I was standing next to Booney, and Delta 9 played that fuck you, fuck them, fuck you motherfucker, the little next at one track.
11x, whacked out.
He get that excited. He done a backflip and landed square in his chest and knocked the air out of him. He was down there for about 5 minutes. It was hilarious.
Amazing.
Get in. And just to give people a flavour, obviously we're a podcast based out of Newcastle. A lot of people who are listening will be going to Res. You go down to play at Res, or you coming to Res as a raver?
No, I'm going down to play at the one in October.
Yeah.
Which is excellent for me, to be honest, because I kind of grew up on Resurrection. Obviously, Resurrection started in Newcastle, but it did move up to the showground for most of its main events. So when I was younger, Resurrection was a huge part of Scotland. I can remember drawing at school, being in school, we're drawing res signs all over the jars, and I think I drew more Zs than I did anything else in school.
Spot on. And what can people expect when they come to see you?
Well, I'm back to back with Al Twisted at it. So we'll do something a bit special. I still need to speak to Al to see exactly what we're doing, but I think we'll throw a bit of everything in. Obviously, it's a resurrection set, so it will be old school orientated, but we'll definitely make it special.
Well, I'm sure everyone will be looking forward to that one, Rob.
Yeah, there you go. Mark that one down like you're at fucking Glastonbury. Put a little line underneath it and multiple exclamation marks, and definitely come
Go
along
and see Robbie and Al.
Yeah, we will be in the crowd, most likely throwing arms in the air and going absolutely bananas.
With a woolly jumper, a hat, and a coat on.
Yeah, definitely. No shorts, Wellington boots on the town moor. Like,
it's a good chance of really well. He's like,
yeah, that's it. Hopefully the cows will actually be moved off the moor. Otherwise, we might all end up on a heifer. Someone will leave Resurrection on a heifer as it is. So they always do at those events where everyone gets smashed. So if you had to boil down all of this festival shenanigans you went to and pick one tune for everyone of the Rave Nation on the Honor Rave to give it a good earful, who would you pick?
For a festival track, personally, and this is more in the slower, kind of euphoric kind of tip, I would have to go with Marshall Masters' Return to Zero, which is one of my all-time favourite tracks. I think it was actually the Mysterylands festival anthem at one point, but it's just incredible. It's such a euphoric kind of vibe to it, and it just really gives you that kind of feel-good festival vibe. I think it reminds me a little bit of Moby Go in a way.
Yeah, I can definitely see that in it.
Mint. Well, let's get thick of it then. Close your eyes, reach for the ceilings, take a deep breath, and let's have a go of some Marshall Masters. This is Return to Zero.
That doesn't mean that anything goes. What that means is we're going to put the music up here for free.
Well, that was the amazing Marshall Masters, aka Mark Apania? Mark Acanapian? Can't remember. Don told us how to say it properly when he was speaking to him, but I can't remember. Mark Acanapian? Acanapania though?
Sounds like Mark's got a canopy.
He has.
Something like that.
He did. Last time he was in Newcastle, he had loads of them. And that was Return to Zero.
Spot on. That was Festival Fever moment. Section 4. So let's throw into section 5, which is
Shared Discoveries.
Spot on. So is there an artist out there that you think maybe doesn't get as much love as they deserve, and that you would like to play one of the tracks of for the Rave Nation to try and get them a little bit more notoriety?
Yeah, right now I'm really liking the three guys from Manchester called Soldiers of Core, who are kind of really tearing it up just now with the kind of up-tempo hardcore sound. When I say three guys from Manchester, I think one of them actually lived in Manchester originally. One was from right at the bottom of England, and the other one's from Glasgow. But they all stay in Manchester now and do the act Soldiers of Core. But they're kind of tracks I find they've got loads of energy in them. They don't go for like the kind of big melodies or try and please anyone. It's just kind of floor to the floor hardcore with like samples from like Bronson and Glasgow gangster films and whatnot. It's just, to me, it's really energetic and kind of the kind of stuff that should be getting brought out just now in the hardcore scene.
Spot on. Do you know where people can find them? Are they on Bandcamp, or is it a SoundCloud thing?
Well, we signed them to a label a while back, so you can get them on my label Dark Side Unleashed for the releases, and then obviously just type in for like the Facebook or the SoundCloud and whatnot. Just type in Soldiers of Core, and you'll get to hear the guys' tracks. Definitely worth a listen.
Spot on. Cool. It's always nice, I find, to like just discover new music or music that other people are really enjoying at the minute. You know, there's so much music out there that sometimes people get lost in the shuffle. So it's nice to be able to push someone, especially someone who,
from your description, it sounds very much like the same sort of ethos as old hardcore used to be.
So there you go. And if you want to get thick of some Soldiers of Core, you can either search for them on YouTube and SoundCloud, or as always, we will post a link in the comments section to where you can go about and find them. Is there one tune by them that you'd like to play for everyone?
Yeah, it's a track that we brought out a few years ago now. I think it was back in 2018. But in my opinion, it's the best track the guys have done. It's a track called Fucking Nuts. So check this one out. In fact, you should see the artwork for it. It's brilliant. It's got a car. The regi plate says "fucking nuts," and it's got a big ball sack hanging off the bottom of it. Don't have a good laugh at that if you can see it on the internet.
Yeah, spot on. We'll get Addie to bang a picture out on the Instagram.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Addie will bang a picture on the Instagram so everyone can see it. So,
right.
Tell you what, everyone at home, grab a beer and go fucking nuts to some fucking nuts.
Mate, do you know anything about fraud? Anything at all? Take cut. Do you know anything about how you pay off the list? Every fucking final Thursday in a month. Do you know that? You're fucking nuts! Every fucking final Thursday in a month. Do you know that? You're fucking nuts! Right, Albie, do you know things about us, mate? You know things, eh? About Ron, about me, about the firm, right? You know about payments, right? Do you know we cash pair of bonds, yeah? Do you know we pay off juries to make them look fucking favourably upon us, do you? Yes. You do, there's a fucking surprise. Mate, do you know anything about... You're fucking nuts! There's too many things about us. Right, Albie, do you know things about us, mate? You know things, eh? About Ron, about me, about the firm, right? You know about payments, right? Do you know we cash pair of bonds, yeah? Do you know we pay off juries to make them look fucking favourably upon us, do you? Yes. You do, there's a fucking surprise. You know that? You're fucking nuts!
On the Rave is proudly sponsored by Express Lifestyle Solutions.
Whether it's mortgages or insurance, Express Lifestyle Solutions can make a difference.
On the Rave!
Section 6 of the On the Rave podcast is the moment where I ask my compatriot to my left to set the scene.
So, Robbie, you finish your drink, you're at Ray's, you're stumbling through the puddles, you go into the toilet, hence porter cabin, sit here there, wrap yourself up a little bit of party powder, whoop, give yourself a big nifter, stumble back out into the tent, and this DJ comes on, he plays the best tune you've ever heard in your whole fucking life. Are your hands in the air or are you screw facing down?
It's a very hard question to answer, to be honest, because I like so many different styles of music. But I'll go with one track that it's actually got a bit of both in it, and it's Jones and Stevenson, The First Rebirth.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I can remember one kind of moment like that was incredible. We were at the time I was playing at Ground Zero Festival in Holland, and Jones and Stevenson were actually on the lineup for it.
Oh.
Now I've always loved The First Rebirth since it came out. If anybody was asked to ask me a kind of go-to track, it would definitely be right up there. And I remember we were in the Industrial Arena, and it was just about time for Jones and Stevenson to come on, so we went to try and find them. Now I don't know whether you've been to Ground Zero, but it's quite a large mapped out event, and they were playing in the multi-groove stage, which is right in the middle of the whole festival, but it's kind of it's covered, surrounded by trees, so it's really hard to find. So we started panicking a bit because we thought, well, we're going to miss Jones and Stevenson here if we can't find this arena. So we're walking through these trees. I can remember seeing lasers coming through the trees. I'm trying to find the arena, and then we just heard the first Rebirth coming through the trees. Followed the music, walked into the multi-groove room, which was just this huge opening in the middle of the trees in this forest. And just to see Jones and Stevenson standing there doing the first Rebirth live was incredible.
Yeah, spot on. I can even feel it. I can sort of feel the euphoria. I can feel the goosebumps as you're going through what would probably look like fucking Endor, and all the lasers start firing over the top of you. Just to wander straight in and find that little spot. That sounds proper class. Wait, everyone, as always, let us know whether or not this song makes you go arms in the air or whether it puts a screw face on you in the comments down below. Let's get a little bit thick of a big old chunk of Jones and Stevenson coming straight out of 1993. This is the first Rebirth. There we go. That was the incredible first rebirth by Jones and Stevenson. And as we said, let we all know whether or not that made you reach for the ceilings or frown at the floor.
It's definitely made me reach for the ceiling. Like I'm getting them goosebumps.
Yeah, it's an absolute beauty of a rave tune, and that's, as I said, that's Bonsai Records coming out of the amazing 1993. I would have been
good year, Gav. It's a good year.
I'd have been all of 10 years old, Eddie. I'd been all of 10. But an absolute beauty. Let's join in the section 7, which is the dedication part. So you're a DJ, so you probably often get people asking you if you could play a track for them, but we're turning it on its head and asking if you've got a track that you'd like to play for someone, who that person is and what the track is. So I'll hand over to you for your dedication, Rob.
Yeah, well, I suppose if I'm going to dedicate a track to anyone, I might as well dedicate it to my fiance. she'll probably kill me if I don't.
Yeah,
but so we've been seeing each other for nearly 20 years now, and this track came out on the year that we started seeing each other back in 2002. We used to call this track our track, as you do with your girlfriend. I wish it had a wee bit of a more romantic title, but it's what it is. This is DJ Promo and a track called Up Yours.
There we go. There is a little bit of dedication for everyone. That was DJ Promo with the romantically named Up Yours. And as he said, that was for the missus coming all the way out of 2002. And that is obviously a lovely little moment for the pair of them there, for the lovely couple. Section 8, Addie, is the bone of contention that is
guilty pleasures.
So, where do you lie on guilty pleasures, Robbie?
Is there such a thing as guilty pleasures? Or is it just something that you like?
Well, it's probably just something that you like, although I suppose guilty pleasure would be something that's maybe quite a bit different to what people would perceive you for liking musically.
Yeah.
Mine is a big fan of kind of old school rap music. One band in particular for me that I really like is a band called Insane Clown Posse, or ICP for short, which I seem to be the only one out of my group of friends who are like right into Insane Clown Posse. But guilty pleasure wise, it's the kind of music that if I'm not listening to dance music, I've got a bit of Insane Clown Posse on. I just think they're fantastic. One album in particular is the Tempest album, which I just think flows perfectly from start to finish. And it's a bit different from normal rap because they bring a lot of guitars and whatnot into it as well. For me, it's just a kind of perfect sound to take me away from hardcore for a bit and just enjoy something else.
So have you ever got like 100% Juggalo'd up?
The Juggalo album.
Have you ever dressed up as a Juggalo?
A concert? No, I've never actually juggaloed myself. No, I'd love to see them live right enough.
Yeah, well, lucky for me, a couple of years ago, I actually managed to see them live. They played in Newcastle. They got banned from one venue because they did a gig in London at the O2 Academy, and then the O2 Academies up and down the country cancelled them, and they had to find other venues to play at up and down the country. And they're really famous for one thing at all of their shows that you go to, which is drowning the audience in Faygo, which is a soda that's made in the city that they're from. I think it's Chicago.
I don't know where from.
I can't remember if it's Chicago or Detroit maybe, but basically Faygo is like the standard soda we have in this country, but 100 times sugarier and a lot thicker. It's like a viscous pop, but they couldn't get any in Newcastle. So they went to the nearest Tesco and bought about 100 bottles of the cheapest, shannest Tesco lemonade that you've ever had to bear. And as soon as they started just shaking these 2-litre bottles and drowning the whole crowd in Faygo. It went in fake Faygo. And by the end of the gig, my trainers were ruined. Anything you had in your pockets was absolutely fucked. All these people who got dressed up and put all the face paint on, completely gone because they got drowned in pop. And at the end of the gig, there was like a foot deep of lemonade in the Riverside venue in Newcastle. And the Riverside, the day after, posted on social media, "Thanks very much, you're never coming back." So, but yeah, that's the thing. And I really like a lot of what goes on with ICP. I think they don't take themselves as seriously as a lot of American rappers do. And that element of fun, and also the fact that they've got their own wrestling company as well, like the ICP wrestling, which is just hilarious. Like, so what tune do you think best displays what ICP have got to offer?
My personal favourite is the last track in the end of the Tempest album, which is a track named Serial Killer. I just love it for the strange vocals. It's got a bit of a meaning to it, I think. It's quite deep if you listen to it properly. And it's also got a kind of really euphoric guitar riff that kind of ties the track really nicely together.
Yeah. And
if it's nice to meet somebody else who's into the guilty pleasure as well. So the next time they play over here, if they ever do, we need to go and see it together.
Oh, spot! I'd go back again, but I'd take a cagoule. Like, there's no way I'd be going without a poncho or something because. Like,
no, I'll supply the cagoule.
Yeah, I've got arse-long dreadlocks and getting lemonade out of arse-long dreadlocks. Turns out it's a fucking ball ache. Well, to quote one of my absolute favourites of lyrics of them, "I'm Violent J, and I'm back like a vertebrae. Here is a little bit of ICP, the Insane Clown Posse. And as we said, this is Serial Killer.
If I was a serial killer, they would find all my victims' heads in funky ass gas station toilets. And if I was a serial killer, I would be strange and deranged, and I would never change. If I was a serial killer, I'd be known as the smoker, 'cause I would cut off and smoke all of their hair. And if I was a serial killer, I would sleep on broken glass and thumbtacks, and I would smoke mad crack. First thing I would do would be to kill a couple hotties that always get some mustered up, decapitated bodies dumped on state police lawn just before dawn, to let them know my ritual had begun. I crack a 40 with the devil, tell him dig me a hole, 'cause I'm coming when I die, and tell that I'm in control. This is if I was a serial killer, and though I ain't, but if I was, I'd do my walls of blood red with blood paint. This is if I was a serial killer, and though I ain't, but if I was, I'd never stop, because I know that I came. If I was a serial killer, I would drive a black van, and I would ride around the college campus. And if I was a serial killer, I would walk among us and gain trust until I needed that rush. I park outside these bitches' homes, then drive away, then come back with my lights off. This time I'm here to stay. I wear human bones around my neck and have my ceremonies, then go back upstairs and microwave some macaronis. You know it's all up in my trunk, so don't ask me to pop it. Once I get out to my cabin, then I'll finally unlock it. This is if I was a serial killer, and no I'm not, but if I was, I'd snap a photo once they die on the spot. This is if I was a serial killer, and though I'm not, but if I was, I know that I can't, so I would never stop, never stop, never stop. And I don't know myself anymore, and I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't know who to be anymore, and I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't know what to think anymore, and I don't know who I am anymore. That I am strange and deranged, and I don't know who I am anymore, and I will never change. I wanna hold up this psychopathic funky shit up on a hole. Shut it down. I wanna run with this. We gotta always keep it wicked shit, gonna always be the same. I wanna hold up this fuck the world, take me under, bitch. We try to move the tunnels. The tempest rain would bury all my special projects underneath the garden in my grandmother's backyard. And if I was a serial killer, I would be strange and deranged, and I would rock my hatchet chain.
Yeah, well, there you go. And for all the juggalos out there, that was a little bit of ICP. And as I say, if you do ever get to go and see ICP, take a poncho. You know, one of those little pocket ponchos you get at a festival. Take one, and everyone will laugh at you when you take it out your pocket before the start. But at the end of the night, you will be the one without a sticky T-shirt trying to get in a taxi home. Because as you can imagine, some people got charged a fucking fortune for those taxis.
You know what? ICP are missing out on a fucking trick, because the amount of merch you can sell in ponchos would be fucking amazing at the gig.
I never even thought of that. You could
Fucking
sell ICP ponchos, couldn't you?
Alton Towers have beat them to it by a fucking years.
Oh, that's it.
Get Alton Towers poncho, get your ICP poncho as well.
They could do a thing when you buy a ticket, pay a couple of quid extra, get a poncho when you get there. And everyone will be like, fucking poncho, what do I need a poncho for? Don't think you know who you're about to go and see, pet. Like, especially when you see lasses turning up, dressed up quite nicely, wearing really bling shoes and little skirts, and knowing that they're going to be a foot deep in Tesco's brand lemonade.
They might be just lemonade sluts.
Maybe they do go a little bit crazy for the lemonade. You never fucking know.
Sugar drives them crackers.
Well, this is it. Let's roll into section 9 of the podcast, which is when we discuss the GOATs, the greatest
of all time.
So, was this one a difficult one for you, or was it one that really did someone just really jump out at you?
I mean, it's always a difficult question, but when you have to narrow it down. But yeah, I mean, answer-wise, it's probably pretty easy, to be fair. I would say hardcore-wise, taking everything into consideration, I would have to say top dog probably would be Angerfist.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
Just for everything that he's done for the scene, the amount of tracks that he's turned out, the difference in his tracks as well. I mean, when I first got introduced to Angerfist, it was when we used to go to like Nightmare in Rotterdam and whatnot, at the kind of turn of the millennium in Holland. And Angerfist, before he was actually big, the Angerfist used to be that they would put on at the end of the night, and they would start off like 200 BPM. And I can remember being a wee guy at these raves and looking forward to Angerfist coming on, because Angerfist was the one who was going to play the faster music than anybody else. And the kind of harder stuff. They'd always be on at the end of the night. And then it wasn't until like the first ever Dominator, I think, when they done the first kind of live show, and they brought out the kind of more commercial side of Angerfist. I mean, even the commercial side, though, it's still quite driving and it's unique. And they've got all the vocals that they use in their track are really kind of catchy.
They've definitely got an ear for a good hook and a good vocal.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, they do stuff that's different as well. They'll make tracks that's commercial. They'll also stick to their roots and create harder tracks as well. If you listen to an Angerfist, and one of the Angerfist sets I heard recently played like a Dormouse track towards the end, so he'll always think outside the box in his sets as well. And I think the reason that I would say the top dog as well, more than anything else, is when you speak to people who aren't into hardcore, don't really know what hardcore is, and you say, oh, I like hardcore, they kind of instantly, in this country anyway, they instantly kind of think happy hardcore, or you're into happy hardcore. But then you try to describe the kind of music you like, you'll name artists, they don't know anything. You say Angerfist, and 9 out of 10 times they know what you're talking about. Yeah. And I think that name of an artist shows people the kind of style of music that you like. And I think when it's something that big, then it has to be at the top.
Yeah, he's got one of those names that sort of transcends the genre, doesn't it? Like some people can get confused and think that Angerfist is a genre all of its own because of the fast pace and, as he said, the snappy vocals that are all over the place. And
so he jumps genres himself. He'll go from slow, dark, industrial, like what's the track that I love playing there? What's it? strangle and mutilate prostitutes. I love that track. It's so
That's one of those ones,
good track.
yeah.
And then in the same breath, be very commercial and very, as I say, firing vocals, but then
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, and I mean, with Danny from Angerfist, he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet as well. You would think that when someone's that big in a scene, quite a lot of the times it can be a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely brand new. I remember the first time we ever booked Angerfist, and we were the first ones ever to bring him over to Scotland. And he charged us 300 quid and stayed the night at my house. No, you wouldn't get that these days, eh?
No, you don't get that.
No. It just goes to show that sometimes, like, despite the genre of music that we're all into, the people are actually really, really sound. Like, you'd imagine the more aggressive music you put on, that the people might be a little bit more niche, but now they're just genuinely some of the most lovely people. Like Frank Rotator. He's just
a lovely guy.
He plays some horrible music, but he's such a lovely guy. You know what I mean? And you're right what you say about him being there, because my missus, before she knew I was into Gabba and stuff like that, she was like, all right, well, yeah, I don't mind a bit of Angerfist. And it was like, how the fuck did you get to Angerfist from Slipknot and Korn? You know what I mean? It's just that's where it naturally falls in for her. Like, so yeah, that's spot on. And if you had to pick one track to sort of encapsulate what Angerfist does, in your opinion, what track would it be that you'd play for everyone?
Track that I would play, and I think this track encapsulates his sample, his kind of commercial sample, but infuses it with a more kind of industrial and breakbeaty kind of sound as well. The track that I want to do from Angerfist would be a tune called Street Fighter.
Jump, motherfuckers, jump. Jump, motherfuckers, Saturday night and we like to party. We like to party. Jump, motherfuckers, jump. Saturday night and we like to party. But punks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Saturday night and we like to party. We like to party. Jump, motherfuckers, jump. 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 Jump, motherfuckers, just a scheming on my shit. Jump, motherfuckers, just a scheming on my shit. Jump, motherfuckers, just a scheming on my shit. That's a homicide. Jump, motherfuckers, just a scheming on my shit. 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 Jump. We like to party, but folks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Saturday night. The witness say I'm wicked, but that's how I kick it. Saturday night, and we like to party, but folks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Saturday night, and we like to party, but folks are fucking around, so they're fucking around. Saturday night, and we like to party, but folks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Saturday night. But punks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Jump, motherfuckers, jump. The witness say I'm wicked. That's a homicide. That Saturday night and we like to party. But punks are fucking around, so we might catch a body. Saturday night and we like to party. But punks are fucking around. Fucking around. scheming on my shit. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. That's a homicide. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. 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 Jump, that's a homicide. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. Jump motherfuckers, that's the scheming on my shit. Jump, that's a homicide.
Well, there you go. There's a big old helping of Anger Fist, and as I say, that's Street Fighter from 2014's Masters of Hardcore, in fact. And how do you guess what? That's right, yeah. Oh, I'll just squeeze my ear hole there and try and get that back.
The megaphone works though.
The megaphone is working. That's really good to know, Addie. Thank you very much for testing it out. Yes, this is the moment where Robbie has decided to play his wild card. So we've got a double goat. So for the second part of the goat, whereabouts are you going? Who you pick for this one?
For the second part, and to fly on my wild card, because I think this section just has to have something extra as well. A personal favourite of mine would be the Horrorist, aka DJ Skinhead. And I think I have to mention the Horrorist just because, I mean, everything the guy makes, I think, is incredible. It's so different in styles. Like I can remember hearing One Night in New York City. It's like a really kind of creepy techno track. It's just incredible. And then I like him right up until his DJ Skinhead alias, where he was making tracks like Extreme Terror and all the kind of fast speedcore from earlier. And one of the best nights I ever had in a club was we went to a techno night called Monarchs in Glasgow, and it was a Horrorist PA. So we went to see the Horrorist as the Horrorist, expecting him just to play a full set of techno. And I got halfway through his PA, and I went out to the end of the catwalk holding this light behind his head.
Yeah.
And the kick drum just started going, must have been, it was 250, 300 BPM. So I thought it would just have been a bit in the techno track that they were like looping for a second, and then it would kick back in with techno. It just kept going and kept going and kept going. And then he just grabbed the mic and shouted, DJ Skinhead!
Yes.
And then 15 minutes of speedcore at the end of his PA at this techno night, which to me was just incredible, because at that point I'd never seen Skinhead live. So to get to see DJ Skinhead do a PA at a techno night when I didn't expect it was just everything. So for that, I need to put him in. This category.
Yeah, I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast before. Me and Don had booked him to play. Yeah, one of my favourite things is just me and Don in this club, listening to him do his sound check, just like
Nice.
and I go, yes, this is fucking amazing.
Still remember the first time I saw Horrorist, we all got a bus up to Scotland. There you go, he's smiling while he's taking a drink, but I was actually in Scotland the first time I saw him, and he had a woman with him doing vocals. Do you remember?
No.
Don't remember. He had a woman with him doing vocals while he was performing, and it was just that's exactly what it was. It was an utter performance. It was like performance
Nice.
art. So yeah, amazing. So if you had to boil down your love of the Horrorist to one tune, what would you play for people?
I want to go to something middle of the road in what he makes. And a track that actually made it onto some Thunderdome CDs, and I've heard it at many a rave as well. This is a track by the Horrors called Flesh is the Fever.
Oh, yeah.
What a tune.
Yeah,
What a
absolute
tune.
tune. Absolute tune. Right, let's get absolutely thick of some Horrors then. This, as Robbie said, is Flesh is the Fever.
future, deep into a different time. Let me grip onto your face and bring you to this new place. Super social amphetamine, the queer tune of control, the panic disorder gripping the entire race as a whole. Flesh is the fever of force, and it's the sound without remorse. Rampant is the army of disease that brings you to your knees. You can't believe everything you hear. You can't believe everything you see. The conspiracies are ever growing, and all you can believe in is me. These are the things to come. 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 Let me take you into the future, deep into a different time. Let me grip onto your face and bring you to this new place. Flesh is the fever of force, and it's the sound without remorse. Rampant is the army of disease that brings you to your knees.
There you go, everyone. That was a big handful of the horrors for everyone. For the second or third time, maybe on the podcast.
I think it might be more. Actually.
Yeah, maybe. That is Flesh is the Fever. And that's just one of those tunes that's synonymous with the horrorist and the noise that he makes. It's an absolute beauty of a track.
On the Amazing Things to Come records, please go and check all of his stuff out because it's all so different, but still all so the same. Like, it's the same sort of genre, but he has a different look. He has a different outlook on the music that he's making.
Yeah, Spotty Dog. Cool. Well, we've wound our way all the way down to the very last section of the show. Thank you very much for hanging around and talking shit with us.
Cheers, Robbie.
It's lovely, lovely to have some guests on the show again. The last section of the show is what we call the personal anthem section of the show. We generally ask a couple of questions in the run-up before you do this. So one of the questions we ask, if you were a WWE wrestler and you were on your way down to the ring, which song would you have playing as you were coming down the ring? I see you smiling because I see the tune that you've picked, and I know this tune's an absolute belter. And that Addie's too.
Yes.
I know it's not the track that you've picked, but DOA, New York City Speedcore, just what an absolute track. And I can just see the crowd going absolutely mental as you ran down to a WWE ring with this playing in the background, like.
Ran in like the fucking Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yes.
Just grabbing the ropes and going absolutely.
But I might make a little video of just the Ultimate Warrior run to the ring to New York City Speedcore. That would just be fucking. That would make my day.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely fits perfect, which is why I thought I'd mention that. But I see you've actually gone for one of your tracks, which is proper mint like, so people can get thick of what you do. What was it that made you pick this track for people for the personal anthem?
I picked this track. I mean, it's to be a personal anthem, so there's nothing more personal than picking something that's a track of your own. So I wanted to play this one. This was a track that I'd done about 10 years ago. It was called Live Tonight. The reason I picked this track is because I felt like it came out at the perfect time when hardcore had started getting a bit faster. So it kind of hit the 190, 200 BPM mark. And to me, it was a kind of new kind of sound that was coming out. And the sample on this track, as you'll hear, says what we have is a brand new sound. It got played by everybody in the scene at the time when it came out. And to this day, I still hear it getting played at raves, and that's a good 10 years on. And I feel myself personally that it was one of the tracks that kind of defined a new kind of genre of music when the kind of faster scene started happening in hardcore.
Spot on, yeah. That's an absolutely brilliant explanation. I see no better reason than to play it. So from me, Gav, and from Addie, as I said, thank you for hanging around and listening to her. Where can people go to find more of your music? Where's the best place to send them?
You can check out my record label, which is Dark Side Unleashed. You can check out my own pages. If you just type Rob the Rhythm into Facebook, you'll find the page. Do my live streams as well, nearly every Friday night. They'll stream live from my Rob the Rhythm Facebook. I try and get started for about 7 o'clock on a Friday. And I also stream through the Hardcore Radio Facebook pages as well. So if you can't catch me online, just get me over there.
There you go. Loads of places where you can go to find them. As always, there will be links in the description.
We'll post it everywhere like we always do.
That's it, yeah. All about sharing. So a massive thank you for spending some time talking to two Wallies from Newcastle.
Thanks for getting us on it.
Yeah,
not a problem, Brian.
Not a
It's
problem.
been our pleasure.
It has. Spotty dog. Let's get thick of a bit of Rob the Rhythm. This is Live Tonight.
All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. Live tonight. Live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. Live tonight. Live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. Live tonight. Live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. All the mommies in the house getting live tonight. Come on, everybody, let's all get down. Cause what we have is a brand new sound. Go! Let's all get down. Cause what we have is a brand new sound.
have is a brand new sound. Go! Everybody, let's all get down. Cause what we have is a brand new sound. Go! A brand new sound.
On the Rave with Addie and Gav is proudly sponsored by Express Lifestyle Solutions. Whether it's home insurance or mortgages, Express Lifestyle Solutions can make a difference.
Well, there you go. That was the conversation that we had on Zoom with Rob the Rhythm, and by gum is he a nice lad.
I've known him for years, Gav. He's a lovely, lovely lad.
He is. He's
big up to his last Joe as well. They're a lovely couple.
Yeah, well, there we go. And of course, as he said, you can get absolutely thick of him at Res. Because if you haven't got a Res ticket, what you doing? Come on, what you doing?
Buy a coat, get amongst it.
And speaking of Res, we're going to be doing a team up with the mighty Method Radio to be bringing everyone a weekend of Res-based shenanigans.
Res weekend now.
Yeah. We have come up with the wonderful format. We're not repetitive, Addy.
We're not.
We'll come up with the format of On the Res. And we're going to be doing some short form interviews with some people who's going to be playing with Res. Keep an eye on the socials for all the information of what's going on. And as was said during the interview,
a weekend of tunes and mixes and good old fashioned chin wags with the people involved.
And hype. Let's build up the hype. It's not like we're not on the hype train for Res. I mean, it's in October. I'm thinking about it. It gives us cowie belly. Like I get a
rumble tum jump.
Yeah, that's exactly the one. Not looking forward to having to go for a rumble in a Portaloo because it's been some time since that's happened. But hey, you do it for the rave, don't you?
You do it for the rave.
Yeah. Speaking about for the rave, there is a certain way that here on the Rave we like to end things. We call it a big fat helping of motherfucking science. Addy, what is in the test tube rack that rocks the neat?
I'm getting science and Scotland. bit of tartan techno for all you ravers out there. It's the excellent combination of Davey Forbes and MC Cyclone, aka the Active Force, with head like a fucking Pac-Man.
Oh,
it's one of my old Res favourites. Like, I saw these live-ish at Res, and I was just looking forward to this tune all night until they dropped it.
Well, there you go. So, thank you for hanging around and listening to us prattle shit with another raver from the Rave Nation. I have been Gav.
I'm Addie.
And we are now officially
off the rave.
Good night.
On the Rave.
Hi, this is Mark Archer from Alternate.
Hi, this is Ian from Dream Frequency.
This is Slipmat, and you're in tune to the On the Rave.
On the Rave.
On the Rave.
Podcast.
Watch your bass fins, I'm telling you.